Welcome back to Old School Sports and our OOTP 22 playthrough of the Miami Marlins. We've recently completed the 2023 to 2024 offseason, and our goal is to continue the momentum we've had over the 3 seasons we've been managing the team. You can see we went from 65 and 97 when we tore things down our first season to 79 and 83 to 85 and 77 last year. And during that time frame, our budget has steadily increased as we've kind of been delivering a better performance on the field, as well as meeting most of our owner Bruce Sherman's goals. So it's been a busy offseason. You can see we've got less than $2 million left for free agents at this point. So we've been more active in the offseason than we had been over the past couple of seasons, which hopefully will pay dividends on the field as we try to not only have a winning record, but also increase attendance. Our two main goals for this year are a winning record and increased attendance, so we're focused on those. And then the real big goal is to obviously get into the playoffs and gives ourselves a chance at a world championship. And feeling cautiously optimistic that we may have a team this year that can get us there. We also increased our scouting budget a bit and our development budget a bit from last year. We've still got work to do in our minor league system. We're 21st out of 30th overall. As you'll see shortly, we did trade away several minor leaguers to kind of bolster our major league roster as we head into the 2024 season. Didn't give up too many of the real frontline players that we have, but still ranking 21st overall. We don't have a lot of depth in the minor league system, and for a lower budget, smaller market team like us, it's going to be critical in the coming years that we develop players who can really make an impact for us. So what did we do this offseason? 4 big transactions that we'd like to kind of highlight everybody on, and we were more active in the trade market than we have been in previous years. And it started early in the offseason in December when we traded away Pablo Lopez, a really good young pitcher for our team, to the Mets. Has done really well for us, been a consistent starter, still has potential to improve. He's in his final arbitration season this year, and he had indicated to us that he doesn't get along well with our manager, Don Mattingly, and he was not willing to sign a longer-term contract with us. So given that he had some value, he was the member of our pitching staff that we were most willing to let go of. And we traded both him as well as 2 other minor league pitchers and 2 other minor league outfielders to the Mets to get J.D. Davis to start for us at third base. You may remember that in the 3 years we've been running the Marlins, our offense has pretty much been the worst in the National League each of those 3 seasons, and our pitching has done really well, and we really needed to focus on improving our offense this offseason. Our previous third baseman was finally eligible for free agency, so we let him go. So that was a hole that we needed to fill. And we think that Davis is going to be a good person to fill that hole and give us more offense than we are accustomed to having at third base. You can see over the course of his career, 118 OPS plus, average, 27 doubles, 21 homers, 343 on base percentage. Not exceptional, but our team has been struggling to get to 300 in on-base percentage in each of the 3 seasons as our offense has just been putrid. So the hope is that bringing J.D. Davis on board will help us improve our offense. He is mediocre at best defensively at third base, but we're willing to kind of live with less stellar fielding than we become accustomed to at third base if he hopefully provides the type of bat that we're looking for. Away from him, one other big acquisition on the trade front. We traded a package of 5 minor league pitchers to the Astros for Jose Altuve. again, we needed to improve our offense. Altuve is making $26 million this season, and he's a free agent after the season. The Astros are rebuilding, so they were looking to get rid of him. We didn't give up any of our top prospects. It was more of a quantity than quality trade from our perspective. We've only got him for this season. Doesn't have an obvious position at this point in his career where he's going to be exceptional defensively. He'll slot in at left field for us. But again, similar to Davis, this is a proven offensive player. Career OPS plus of 122 plus, a career 300 hitter with a on-base percentage of over 350 and a career OPS of over 800. Has been trending downwards over the past few seasons. Our hope is that we get a positive offensive season from him. Maybe the change of scenery helps him out. As opposed to playing with a Houston team that's really been struggling and is rebuilding now. So the plan is to have him for this one season. Houston kept a chunk of his contract, but we had enough money heading into free agency and the offseason that he is really our big free agent signing from a financial perspective, even though we had to trade for him. And then there's no financial obligation on our end after this season, and presumably we won't be signing him to a long-term contract next year when he'll be a year older than he is now, and probably, on the downside of his career. But the hope is that we can get something out of him this season. We also made a trade in December to get Jordan Romano, good young, well, not really young, he's going to be 31 shortly, but a solid relief pitcher who's still in his arbitration years. You can see over the course of his career, been really good for Toronto with a ERA plus of 134, FIP minus of 96, not quite as impressive, but has been a real nice arm out of the bullpen for them for the past few years, and will hopefully bolster our bullpen with another good, strong professional arm. So those three trades, ultimately, although we did get the teams that we traded with to keep some of the salaries of all of those players, still kind of used up a good chunk of our free agent budget. And then we made one actual major free agent signing, and that was to bring on Mr. Justin Verlander for a one-year contract for $7 million. Clearly, he's 41 years old now, doesn't have the same pitching profile that he did back in his prime years, but still has 5 good to plus pitches, and has been somewhat injury-prone the last few seasons. Pitched only 3 games with the Mets last year, but was very good in those 3 games before he got hurt. We scouted him aggressively with our legendary scout, and are hoping that he profiles similarly to the way his numbers look right now. Clearly needs no introduction. A lot of black type, or in the case of OOTP, red type in the course of his career for his performance with Detroit and Houston and the Mets and now Miami. Historically, a great pitcher with a 128 ERA plus, 81 FIP minus. Probably not going to get that type of performance out of him this year, but if he can stay healthy and be a productive pitcher to head the start of our rotation, it will ultimately be a very good signing for us. So those were the 4 major moves. We also supplemented with a few minor league contracts, a few other smaller signings, and some depth to kind of bolster our minor league system. You can see the goals we've talked about: achieving a winning record and increasing attendance. We should be able to do both of those. We'll have to decide after this season, or perhaps during this season, if we want to sign Chad Green to an extension. We did only get a 1-year extension last year, so it's a bit of a prove-it season for us. I feel pretty comfortable that we will increase attendance and achieve a winning record. So I think I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll keep our job and hopefully get a longer extension after this season. But as I mentioned earlier, the real goal is to become a playoff team. And in that effort to become a playoff team, we've got to make some decisions today at the start of the season as to what the roster is going to look like. On the batting side, really don't have a lot of decisions to make. Barnhart and Hedges, two great defensive catchers, are still our starter and our backup there. Lewin Diaz is back at first base. Jazz Chisholm back at second base. Freddie Galvis will be back at short. And J.D. Davis, as I mentioned, will take over at third base. Most likely our utility infielders will be Bryson Brigman and Matt Theus. And then the only real decision we have to make is, you can see we've got a lot of outfielders still on the roster coming out of spring training. Obviously, Altuve will be on the team. Last year's big free agent signing, Michael Conforto, will be on the team. Jesus Sanchez will be on the team. Monty Harrison will be on the team. The fifth outfielder spot is where we've got decisions to make. Last year it was Trey Mancini, but he is being pressed right now by John Birdie, who has been in our minor league system. Not a great offensive player, but a lot of versatility on the defensive side and good speed. Griffin Conine, prospect, has some power, has had a couple of cups of coffee with us over the past couple Septembers, but has not stuck. Decent defensively, basically your prototypical fourth or fifth outfielder. And then Nick Fortes is kind of the interesting take. Average hitting profile, has been up with us briefly 2 seasons ago, was not up at all last season when he put together a nice solid season at AAA. He's historically been a catcher. That's how he grew up, but not a very good defensive catcher, and certainly not someone that we would want behind the plate on a regular basis. So we've been training him up to play first base and right field. You can see that he is mediocre defensively at those positions too. But given the versatility he has of being able to kind of play behind the plate in the pinch, he is kind of in the decision-making process too to kind of be the 13th batter that we keep. And then looking at our pitching staff, Edward Cabrera is going to start the season on the injured list. Mentioned already that Jordan Romano was an addition this year along with Justin Verlander. The key to our rotation is really going to be Trevor Rogers, who is our ace of the staff, great young pitcher, left-hander. You can see an above-average pitching profile with 4 good to very good pitches, and he has done an exceptional job for us over the course of his brief career, 3.5 seasons at this point. Led the league in games started each of the last 2 seasons. You can see that as our team has been improving from 60s to 70s to 80s in wins, the actual wins that he's provided for us have declined, but his ERA and his ERA plus have both been exceptional over the past 3 years, and his FIP minus has shown steady improvement. So he is the ace of our staff. Verlander at 41 doesn't need to come in and be the ace. Rogers is going to be a key to anywhere that we can go. Need him to stay healthy and have another big season. We did buy out his arbitration years. This is the last real cheap year we have from him, and he'll be up to $10 million next year, $14 million the year after that. And then we do have team options for his first 2 free agency years at $16 and $18 million. Based on the way he's performed, those will be great bargains if he stays healthy and continues to perform that way. But given the budgetary constraints that we're under, there may be a time in the coming years where we need to make a decision on whether we want to keep him or trade him for prospects. But as we begin the 2024 season, he is a pivotal member of the team. We are looking forward to getting the season started. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, would love to hear them. And we will be back shortly with a review of the 2024 season and our quest to not just increase attendance and have a winning record again, but hopefully get into the playoffs and maybe make some noise in the playoffs if we do get there. Thanks for watching.